everyone, I'm Andrea Flack-Wetherald. I'm the owner of And Beyond, and I'm also the moderator of the Peace Building Conspirators Facebook group. Today I am talking about inner peace and how it is that we can achieve that in a proactive way without just ruminating on old hurts and pains, without just resurfacing grudges and painful experiences in a way that can be really counterproductive. So I'm going to be talking about that, and I'm going to be sharing about how mindful improv can help us participate proactively in that process in a way that's truly helpful and healing. When people think about improv, they think about something that has no rules at all. And the reality is that's not really true. I think a better interpretation of that, there are no rules, is that this is a safe place to be creative. This is a safe place to be vulnerable. This is a safe place to take risks and build something that you're proud of, not just something you can tolerate. But the truth is that there are rules. I have never performed at or taken classes at or produced a show at a theater that didn't have rules for the performers about how to set them up for success, basically. You have to show up on time. You can't be drunk. Well, you can't use hate speech. Those rules are there to set the improvisers up for success so that they can build a show that they are proud of, that they enjoy building together. The same thing is true for the kind of improv that you do in your own head when you are dealing with your past, when you are dealing with why you behave in certain ways that you know are not helpful to you, that you feel bad about and you wish that you could change. When you think about relationships that you wish were different, that you'd love to see some restoration in. That inside improv that you are doing, where you are pretty much having the conversation for both people, imagining the arguments, imagining the situation, that's all improv. You're building it in your head. And there are ways that you can set yourself up for success because that kind of imagination is actually a really helpful tool for your healing process. And when I use mindful improv to teach, I call it the proactive forgiveness process. When I'm teaching this to people, that imagination skill can be very critical and important. So we don't want to do away with it. We just want to put some rules in place to help set ourselves up for success. So what I'm going to share with you are 4 boundaries, 4 rules, so that you can use your imagination to help yourself heal more effectively and not get stuck in that territory of just counterproductive resurfacing of old situations that is bound to land you in a shame spiral or newly re-traumatized and certainly not set you up for success on a journey of creating a healthy, beautiful, happy life. The first thing to do is to choose a reflection time instead of just allowing yourself to get triggered into reflection. A lot of the times, people only wonder how it is that their relationship with their parents or their family history of financial insecurity or instability or whatever it may be, they only explore how those things might be impacting them right after something that's painful or embarrassing or triggering happens to them. For example, they've gotten an overdraft fee, or they showed up late for work and they got in trouble, or somebody broke up with them, or some sort of painful experience has just happened. They've gotten some painful feedback, and now they start thinking about all that. Well, of course that would happen because I'm the kind of person who ... or whatever. And so before you know it, you've jumped into a shame spiral and you're starting to think about all the other things that you do that are like this and all of the ways that your situation is hopeless and terrible. That is not a helpful use of your time, and it certainly doesn't get you any closer to healing. So the first thing to do is, instead of getting triggered into reflection, give yourself space to breathe and get back into alignment in those initial moments after something painful has happened. Choose to breathe, choose to put it on the shelf for later, but then schedule time. Schedule, if you have the ability to do a solitude retreat. I've done that a couple of different times. But more often than not, it's going to be something more simple. Once the kids are in bed, I will draw myself an Epsom salt bath. I will put on 432 hertz music on my Spotify station. I will light some candles, and I will take some time to reflect. Step 2 is have a plan for that reflection time. So we don't want our beautiful, quiet moment of reflection that we have dutifully set aside for ourselves to turn into rehashing the same situation, letting it play out in your brain all over again, feeling that anger, that resentment, that fear. Your plan is going to be to address one specific behavior. We're not going to get all into everything. We're addressing one specific behavior. So maybe you've noticed I do tend to not be direct when I communicate with my partner, or whatever the case is. One specific behavior. If you start trying to unpack every single imperfection that you have, every single thing that gets on your spouse's nerves or whatever, you're going to re-enter a shame spiral, and that will not be helpful. So in our chosen reflection time, we're choosing one thing. Number 3 is that you'll start using this curiosity skill we talk about so frequently in improv. Curiosity instead of judgment. Why might that be that way? What might have contributed to that? Curiosity instead of judgment. So we are talking about self-compassion and self-empathy while we explore that behavior. And when you are in this environment, you have chosen this reflection time, you're not freshly triggered by something, you've created a physiologically safe feeling situation with your nice bath, or maybe you're in your cozy jammies by the fire, or enjoying a sunrise, or whatever situation puts you in that safe feeling place. You've created this environment for yourself. You'll be surprised how quickly you're able to think of maybe a specific situation or conversation that happened that, is the root of this behavior in your life. And it's not always going to be some painfully traumatic situation. An example from my life is that I, a few years ago, had hired a marketing firm to help me with some Facebook ads that I was wanting to run. And they were really encouraging me to use the word coach. And I was very resistant to that. And one of them asked me, why is that? Why are you so resistant to that word? And I wasn't sure. I couldn't figure out, why is it? And they were like, well, that is the most direct way to communicate with your audience. So I think that this is the word we should use. So I was doing this reflecting process, why am I so resistant to that? And I remembered an interaction I had when I was about 12 where I was at a family gathering and there was a commercial on TV from this life coach, and I heard my uncles making fun of her. And they were not trying to teach me that life coaching is stupid, that women should just stay in the kitchen, whatever. They weren't trying to teach me something. And I overheard them, and I internalized this belief that coaching is not a legitimate profession, that it's frivolous or stupid, and certainly that it wouldn't be acceptable for someone from my family to have that for a job. So once you have put yourself in this safe, cozy environment, you'll start thinking of, where along my journey did I learn this behavior or this limiting belief? And you'll start identifying those situations, which brings us to step 4. Once you've identified those situations, then it's time to reroute to deep truth. So what I mean by deep truth is that you know you are capable, courageous, willing, and worthy. You know that you can be, do, and have whatever beautiful vision you are carrying for your life. It is not determined by the past. You get to pick. You know that that's the deep truth. So once you have identified those painful situations, you can use some sort of either journaling prompt or mantra. So what I say is, since I know I am capable, courageous, willing, and worthy, it is safe, or sometimes I use the word good or time or helpful. So since I know I am capable, courageous, willing, and worthy, it is time for me to tell X person or situation that it does not determine my future. So rerouting to that deep truth has provided a lot of freedom for me. Now, here's where I want to back up, because just like you can start with a limiting belief or a detrimental behavior and you're trying to figure out, why do I do this? Why do I believe this? Where's this coming from? Maybe that's not what you're starting from. The reverse is also possible. Maybe you're starting from a painful situation or conversation. These certain situations or these certain memories creep up and start whispering lies into your brain about the fact that you're not worthy, or you're not good enough, or you're not capable, or you're not the kind of person who, whatever. And that's just not true. It's just not true. So maybe you've got a situation like that and you're like, I am really, really ready for this situation to stop hanging over my shoulder. So maybe you're starting from that situation. That works too. Instead of just replaying this memory that can be traumatizing or whatever, instead of that, I am mining that event, that argument, that hurtful situation for limiting beliefs. What are the lies that I started believing about myself, what I'm capable of, what I'm worthy of? What are the limiting beliefs I started believing because of that situation? The reason why that is creeping up on you, there is something that it has on you. There is some story that you are still telling yourself about your present situation or your future that you believe that situation is dictating. And then same step 4, reattaching to deep truth. Because the reality is that whatever you have been through, whatever I have been through, it does not change what is possible for the future. All of this is so important to people who aspire to be effective peace builders in the world. Because just like we talk about positive peace, an idea Martin Luther King Jr. put forth all those years ago, and how positive peace is something more than just that fragile quiet you achieve when you decide not to talk about painful things. That's not real peace. It's not real peace to just decide we're not going to deal with what's painful and what's awful. So just like that's not real peace on a macro level or at a community level, it's also not real peace on an inside level. And if we want to be people that are building beautiful things in the world, that are restoring the world and helping to foster healing and greater humanity in the world, that has to start inside. And so just like we wouldn't set aside all the bad stuff and just decide we're not going to talk about it, not going to think about it, that's also what we're not going to do when we're building peace inside of ourselves. So I hope that this video has been helpful to you in thinking about how you can address head-on painful experiences in a way that allows you to heal so that you can go into your family, into your community, into your sphere of influence and be a light, be a healing force in your sphere of influence. That has to come from a place of mindfulness and of inner peace and inner healing as well. And we're never done with that journey. It's not like the task is finish healing and then you can go do good work in the world. It's just that it's sometimes easier to focus on how other people need to heal. It's sometimes easier to focus on, the problems that we see all over social media and the news and not realize the most important thing I can do is change myself. Rumi has a quote that I think is really meaningful. Yesterday I was clever, so I wanted to change the world. Today I am wise, so I am changing myself. And I think that really speaks to the goal of doing this inner healing work, inner forgiveness work, just dealing with what's going on inside of ourselves so that we can be people who are making a positive difference in the world and creating positive peace in the world. I hope this video was meaningful to you. If it was, I hope you'll subscribe to this channel and then click the bell so that you get notified whenever I post new videos. Also, check out the Peace Building Conspirators Facebook group. There's a link in the description of this video. We'd love to have you. The Peace Building Conspirators is a diverse, multi-faith, nonpartisan online community dedicated to learning uses for mindful improv to restore relationships, create healing within ourselves, and also to be a non-echo chamber where we can practice talking about issues that matter and are important with people who see things differently than we do. So if that sounds good to you, go to facebook.com/groups/peace.building.conspirators and apply to join. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I hope this was meaningful. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.